Now, The Batman blew me away. I mean, the pacing, the tone, the characters, somehow they went even darker than the Nolan trilogy, and it worked. Although it wasn't my favorite film within the Batman mythos, it got me really excited for the possibility. And a new Gotham, and one that is dark and loaded in backstory and history. And if they are going to be doing another, I think Court of Owls is the place to go. If you think about it, it's perfect for Robert Pattinson's take on Batman. It has that eerie threat, which definitely has horror vibes, perfectly blends into the dark and disturbing world of this Batman. It allows us to extend on the detective skills we've already seen in full force, but more importantly, allows us to look into the character. Although I love the Batman, the biggest complaint I had about it is the character arc, its themes, what it wanted to say about Batman and Gotham. The tone of the movie was right and the characters were right, but I don't think it really said much. I want to change that here. I think The Court of Owls gives a perfect opportunity for a Batman and a Bruce Wayne to grow, for him to get past that anger, and to realize that he needs to put on both personas. Now, for those who aren't familiar with Court of Owls, it's a new story starting from scratch within the DC universe, where there's essentially a semi-new Batman. Now, Batman is slowly revealed to a secret society within Gotham, and one that he refuses to believe that actually exists, considering he thinks he knows every single minute detail of Gotham. It'd be a slower burn type of film, with definitely some horror vibes elements, with those very unsettling and eerie masks, as well as the Talon who's lurking in the shadows, not unlike Batman. Now, The Court of Owls is an amazing story with really cool looking villains, but why I really want this for Robert Pattinson's Batman is because it brings the character in a different place. Now, much of the Batman that just came out is Robert Pattinson finding out what kind of Batman he wants to be, and finding the balance in what man he wants to be. And I feel like this story is the next natural progression. And there's one specific scene within Court of Owls that I think perfectly exemplifies what we could do here. Now, eventually Batman detectives his way to a labyrinth where he's tested beyond any point I've ever seen him within the comics or films. Has constant exposure to blinding light, and can't sleep. He's pushed past his breaking point. He's hallucinating, seeing his parents, and having them turn into bats from the inside out. Now, it's important we note, it's extremely rare to see Batman in a state like this one. And I feel like it would help explore the character just a little bit more and help him stand out with all the Batman films that have come out. Seeing him out of control is something we just simply don't see. He's at his lowest points. He's attacked and beaten to a pulp by Talon. The Batman we've seen has been controlled and confident for so many years. And for the first time ever within the films at least, he'll be fully embracing that darkness within, going to almost a feral-like state. I want to see him break out completely and almost go manic. Now, we've seen touches of this. There's actually a scene in The Batman which does a little bit of this as well, which alludes to it nicely. But for the first time ever, we have no one to hold him back. We see Batman let loose and not pull back his punches. And this be the moment where he crumbles so hard that it almost forms that Batman we know and love. At this point, we've seen a young Batman finding his footing. This story right here, I think, would form his Batman, make him set up those rules and those things he lives by, and have it really transform his character. This would be the story that takes Robert Pattinson from a young, angry Batman to one who learns to control his anger and have those clear rules, and have him transform into a Batman with a presence and poise that we know. Now, I won't go ahead and ruin the entire story here because there's a lot to follow and a lot to explore. This just shows you one instance of what would be different and what would be perfect for this universe. Those horror-like vibes perfectly mix in with this world. The uncontrolled Batman seems like the natural point to go with him, and you can see how it would push Batman into a different direction, both diversifying themselves from past Batman, but also exploring new realms for the character. So what do you think? Do you think this is where they should go next with the Batman? Or what string of comics would you like to see them adapt? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.